thought you'd be there for life. I thought you would stay for life. You told me you love me, that's a fucking reason I thought. But I didn't know, oh, I didn't know that you was, I didn't know, I didn't know.
Yo, what's good? All right, today we're back, man. I don't know why it takes me so long to get back on this shit, bro. I should be able to make a video like at least once a day, bro. Once a day. React to a video, post that bitch next day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even edit the videos, bro. Just post. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me, bro? You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to lock in as best as I can. One video every day for at least a month, bro. Let's see how this shit goes, bro. One video every day. Pray for me. Comment for me or some shit. I don't know. And I'll actually do it. But this is probably the first time I'm posting this video on this channel. How to beat. I plan to make this a whole shit, like a whole series, because I fucking love how to beat. And honestly, it's the best way for me to catch up on a lot of movies that I'm not gonna watch, especially scary movies. And this obsession has been peak, essentially. I've heard a lot of people talking about it, and I know for a fact I'm not gonna watch it in a movie. So how is to watch it then? How to beat, bro. And one thing I want to say before any of this type of videos, bro, I feel like the easiest way to beat this shit is to just not be in this situation, gang. Because how do you get in this situation, bro? I mean, this one is a little bit different, though. This is the one situation I would actually say he didn't know how to not get in this situation, bro. The nigga just made a wish, bro. He just wanted a girl, bro. I feel like a lot of us make this type of wish. Hey, it's just, let's just get into this shit, bro, and see how he deals with the situation. I feel like the situations is usually way easier to deal with, but this motherfuckers be fucking it up. Let's drop a like, though. Drop a like on this video as well, so.
All right, imagine that you're so deep in the friend zone that you need a miracle to get out. Most people would just take the L, hit the gym, and bounce back a year later like, what's happening for real, shouted? But for every looksmaxer out there in the world, there's gonna be a million other guys just like Baron Bailey, or Bear for short. I mean, dude couldn't pull a chair out from under a table, like he's allergic to winning, and what's crazy is he is punching way above his weight class, going after the baddie of the friend group. But just like most of you out there who couldn't help themselves if Nikki looked like Indy Navarrete, Bear makes a wish. That his crush would fall absolutely head over heels with him, and it actually works. This would sound like your lucky day, right? Well, what if your new love interest starts acting bizarre and ends up making your life a living hell? Bear is about to realize that having your dreams come true can actually turn into your worst nightmares. So I'm here to break down the mistakes made, what we should do, and how to beat the one-wish willow in Obsession. It all starts with this dude, Bear, the most down bad guy in the history of this entire YouTube channel. And he is so obsessed with his childhood friend slash coworker, Nikki, that it's kinda sad. But he's always been too nervous to actually say something, so today he's at the diner practicing his big I love you speech on the waitress. When he's finally done yapping, his buddy Ian tells him it was cringy as hell. You see, Ian's got some other ideas when it comes to risen up Bear's crush, like calling her Freaky Nikki, which is the name they used to bully her with back in high school. But Bear, he's not really catching on here, and just when it feels like he couldn't get any less confident, he gets home to find his cat Sandy dead on the floor, making one down with 3 more to go. You see, Bear's been living in his grandmother's home ever since she passed away, and he carelessly left open the medicine cabinet in the hallway restroom. Poor Sandy must have accidentally hopped up there and gotten into the medicine, and it sends Bear further down his depressive spiral. Later that night, he's lurking on Nikki's IG when she actually calls him up and asks if he's coming to trivia night with their group of friends. Now, at first he turns her down, but then she drops the news that she's putting in her 2 weeks at the music store that they both work for. So he makes the decision that tonight's gonna be the night that he's gonna finally tell Nikki how he feels. Now, while they're on the phone, Nikki drops her crystal necklace down the drain. So being the good friend that Bear is, he heads to this little novelty hippie crystal gift shop on the way to the bar to surprise her with a new necklace. The salesperson is not really being the most convincing that a crystal necklace is the way to go here, and that's when something else catches his eye. He discovers this dinky little toy called a one-wish willow, and according to the box, apparently it grants whoever breaks it in half a single wish. And before he can shout out the shop for coming in clutch,
They just genuinely sell that shit. You telling me every single box in there will grant a wish, nigga? Mass producing that shit, my nigga. Well, I feel like that wish that ass can grant every single wish. I feel like it can't. Because what if I wish for like the end of the world? Unless that shit is like, I feel like it will follow like Shenron type rules, bro. Like if the nigga granting a wish is not strong enough, it probably won't happen. Like Shenron can't make you stronger than Shenron, nigga. Anyways, let's go. I'm fucking up.
The employee here jokingly says, a lot of people complain that it's bullshit, of course, and is a total gimmick. But Bear just says, put the willows in the bag, bro, and...
Alright, so if niggas is complaining, it's definitely not every single one that's like, that works. Maybe just like a couple of them. Maybe the demon just wanted to fuck with you or some shit. I don't know, nigga.
Dips out.
Playing on iPhone? Now you can play unlocked with Google Play Games on PC.
Alright, this dude's officially thirstier than SpongeBob on dry land. It's like when you hear a guy trying to pick up a girl on Xbox Live in the voice chat.
Hello, what you go killing?
What was the question?
But I think we've all been there before, right? I mean, we're only human after all, so
genuinely, we've all been there. I'm not gonna cap.
even though he's a total wuss.
Nigga, YouTube, bro. We've definitely all gone home and just be like, damn, I fuck with that girl. I want to date her. I wish, you wish it would just be easy, nigga. Fuck it.
I'm genuinely rooting for this guy to get out of the friend zone. The only problem is this dude got nerfed in the charisma update. Long ago, ever since the first cave baddies walked the earth, people have been trying to figure out how to get their attention. And it's not just humans either. All kinds of animals have their different romance strategies. Like those little penguins.
Real shit.
from
Birds be
Antarctica.
dancing, nigga. Y'all seen that bird video?
Finding the perfect rock. Even if a penguin can find their soulmate, then at least there's still hope for old Bear. But that brings us our first question. How's a rizless dude like Bear supposed to get that mojo flowing? Well, the first thing he's got to do is stop listening to a single thing that his buddy Ian says. Because this whole calling her freaking
real
Nikki
shit, that's what I'm saying. That nigga don't know game. Yo, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Back in high school, but it's definitely not gonna fly.
Exactly. Grown adults calling her freaking nigga. Who the fuck ain't? Yo, get the fuck out of here, bro. Don't listen to that nigga, bro. That nigga's stupid.
He doesn't have the confidence to back it up. And now that they're getting older, that stuff's gonna just come off as immature and lame.
Real
the person
shit.
he should be getting advice from is that waitress back at the diner. Because as sappy as his whole speech was, she was absolutely eating it up. And you see, that's the difference. Because instead of trying to impress Nikki by being somebody he's not, the only way he's really gonna find out if she likes him is to just be himself. So boom. I'm not saying he should head over to Nikki's holding a boombox outside her window like John Cusack and say anything. He did just mourn the loss of his cat, because if he gets too emotional, it's just gonna look weird. But the fact that she just put in her 2 weeks at work could actually be a blessing in disguise. Like, for one, at least now things won't be awkward at work if she rejects him.
Exactly,
too hard.
bro.
But also, it kind of gives him the perfect opportunity to ask her out on a date. So instead of pulling her aside for some big emotional speech that might honestly come off as creepy, he should use the fact that she's leaving
One-on-one.
to bring it up naturally.
Damn, this nigga no game. What the fuck? I thought this nigga was teaching us how to beat scary movies, not how to get chicks. What the fuck? This nigga's insane.
Be honest about the fact that he likes her and just ask her out.
Nah, bro, right.
Literally the worst thing she can say is no. It's 50-50, but he's never
It's
going to
freaking
find
common
out
sense,
if
but
he
it's true
doesn't shoot his
shit. A lot of
shot.
niggas don't know that.
The gang all meet up for trivia night, and we're
this one.
introduced to Sarah and Nikki, the core 4 group of friends who all work together at Castle's music store, which is run by Sarah's
Yeah, when I'm
father
getting
and San
spicy as
Fernando.
shit, I'm
This
done, nigga.
lovely group of friends goes way back, has a ton of history with one another, and always crushes it on trivia night. But the opportunity comes and goes without Bear getting his chance to talk to Nikki one-on-one. And at the end of the night, just as the group is ready to continue bar hopping, Nikki says that she's tired and keeps asking Ian to take her home. Ian wants to keep the party going at the karaoke spot, so seeing an opportunity, Bear offers to take her home instead. On the drive, the two of them start making some small talk, but honestly, they're not really hitting it off, and when Bear mentions he got her a little something, she reacts like he just shot somebody. So needless to say, it ain't looking too good. They get back to Nikki's house one awkward conversation later, and as she gets out, she mentions how when she has a crush on somebody, no one knows, which gives our boy a glimmer of hope. So he brings up this memory about a time in band class that apparently meant a lot to him, only for her to cut him off mid-sentence saying it was no big deal. The signals at this point could not be more obvious, and as she's walking away, he throws one last Hail Mary and says, "See you later, freaky Nikki." Only it does not come off as confident as he planned. Now offended, she comes back to his car and decides to just ask him if he likes her. And now that the moment of truth is finally here, Bear chickens out and says that he only likes her as a friend.
This nigga's stupid. This nigga's stupid. And I'm like, fuck this shit. This nigga's retarded, bro. This nigga's retarded, bro. Everything that happened to him, he deserves it, nigga. Alright, I'm back.
He walks away seeming pretty confused by the whole thing. Now we'll never know what might have happened if Bear just said what is on his mind, but that's when our story really...
Whole shit could have been avoided if this nigga just said yes, my nigga. We would have never been in this
frustrated with himself, Bear breaks out his gift and says the magic words, "I wish Nikki loved me more than anyone in the fucking world," as he snaps the one wish willow in half. He then looks over to see Nikki standing on the porch, and as he's sitting there in shock, she comes walking back to the car and starts acting incredibly weird. First, she asks about his gift, but Bear lies and says that he'd left it at home. So then she invites him inside, saying she could really use the company because her cat just died, only to turn around and go, "Wait, that was you," and still invites him inside anyway. It is absolutely bizarre. Nigga, and even Bear thinks that she might have gone too hard at trivia night, when for a second she snaps out of it and starts acting like her normal self, but then goes right back to being all flirty with him again 2 seconds later. She dances around a little bit, grabs her things, and gets back in the car. Now thinking she must have had way too much to drink, Bear keeps trying to turn her down, but all of a sudden she slumps down on the dashboard acting all depressed, and she hits him with the news that her father is dying. So not knowing what else to do, he finally caves and they set off back to Bear's crib.
Love Roblox?
Nigga, shut up.
Roblox digital gift cards with...
I'm really... What was... Bro...
Okay, gang, I know all of you are always in the comments asking how I continue to fill my physical media cave with all this heat. Well, truth be told, a lot of my collection... To be fair, a normal person would not expect some dumb kid's toy to actually grant their wish, right?
That's the only shit I can
There's already been a couple signs that it's more legit than it seems.
Really?
First off, the place where he got the One Wish Willow might seem like just your average gift shop, but there was literally a warning sign right on the front door. The novelty store is called the Green Man, but that's more than just a reference to the devil's lettuce. You see, I looked it up. The Green Man is actually an old character from European folklore that represents the chaos of nature and giving into your primal instincts. So, right off the bat, we're already dealing with some sketchy energy here before we even walked in the...
I wouldn't fucking leave because the story's called the Green Man. Nigga, let's be honest, bro. A lot of nigga, he didn't even know this shit until he looked it up. So, and he only looked it up because it's a horror movie. So that shit barely passed.
Which
other than the warning sign though, the warning sign is crazy.
Thing. Like, how could just a little stick in a box be a red flag?
Real
well,
shit.
Just like with the name The Green Man of the store, it all comes down to what the willow tree represents. In ancient Europe, willow trees were seen as magical places where spirits could cross over into our world. So people would actually use their branches for spells and magic rituals, exactly like what just happened here. Now, let's say he got suspicious before he actually tried it out. If he really wanted to be careful about this, he could have just looked it up online first to see what other people were saying, check out the reviews, maybe. And if there were one too many stories about it ruining someone's life, I'd probably be safer to just leave it in the box and return it.
But the cashier was a bitch talking about some that shit don't work.
Give it to somebody else, let them try it out first and see what happens. And if their wish actually came true, I'd know that I have to be super careful about how I use this thing, because the magic would be real. At the end of the day, though, using a wish to make Nikki fall in love with him was never going to be smart, no matter how carefully he worded it. Because not only is that completely unfair to her, but since he cheated to get her attention, it's never going to feel real anyway. And
exactly, the nigga is so stupid, nigga. And then shit, I was gonna say this thing about it from her perspective, but it looked like something just took over her body. So like she's just getting controlled against her will. So we don't even know. If she did love him, even then it would still be wild. But shit, nigga, this nigga's tripping. I mean, at the end of the day, he wasn't actually expecting it to work too, but still, nigga, some weird shit, gang. Using some magical shit. Like the whole, even if you not expect it to work, like think about it. The whole purpose that he bought it was because it's a wish granted shit. So he essentially wanted that wish at the end of the day. But it's whatever, bro.
With the way that she keeps snapping out of it, I think it's safe to say the real Nikki isn't actually steering the ship, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So if Bear wasn't so desperate that he wanted to completely ignore reality, this would be the chance to realize that he's screwed up and start looking for a way to fix all this. But until he mans up and admits what he did, it looks like in the meantime, Nikki's gonna be stuck. When they get back to Bear's place, the dude literally has a bottle of lotion sitting right next to the front door, like,
Yeah.
okay. But Nikki seems like she loves the joint. Like, she comments that it smells just like him, which, okay. And when he insists that he'll sleep on the couch, she gets him to come back and get in his bed. Before he can even clock the vibe, Nikki's taking her shirt off, and that song Televisions by Current Joys starts playing as she cuddles up and puts her head on his shoulder. But that's when she turns around and leans in for a kiss. And since it's what he wished for, he decides to just go with it. Out of nowhere, suddenly snaps out of it and jumps back like, wait, what the f? Only to go right back to being all in love with him again, trying to act like nothing happened. Then she just breaks down and starts sobbing until he finally lets it go. Later on, after she falls asleep, Broski gets up and decides to Google if One Wish Willows actually work. Naturally, there's mad Reddit threads where people are asking the same question. The mixed information isn't doing him any favors, with half the people swearing that it does work, while the other half say that it's just a dumb toy. So he decides to get back in bed, hoping he's just overthinking all this.
Nigga, you
But Bear
just
has
witnessed
no
the whole
idea
shit.
how bad he just messed up both their lives. The next morning, Bear wakes up to see that Nikki is already up and at him. But walking in the kitchen, all he finds is his dead cat, Sandy, lying there on the kitchen floor. Horrified, he picks up this little I'm sorry card as Nikki explains that it's supposed to be some kind of memorial. And the crazy part is, she can't seem to get why he doesn't like it. But he lets it go for now so they aren't late for work. Ian sees the two of them walk in and immediately pulls him over for a little bro down, thinking that Bear finally locked in. But as he starts explaining what happened last night, Ian is completely throwed. Bear says Nikki was acting like a different person, and it's all because she's emotionally wrecked due to the fact that her father is about
she's
to pass
watching
away.
from the back.
Ian immediately clocks that Nikki's father is barely in her life at all, and he's pretty sure they hate each other. So Bear guesses that maybe she was on one, like that one time they all took them you-know-whats and went to the club. And the whole time they're talking, she keeps staring at him with this big unnerving smile. Hours later, as the gang closes the shop for the day, Bear flat out says that he's not going to be able to give Nikki a ride home tonight, but she just goes, I know, and grabs her bag and hops straight in Ian's car, leaving him even more confused. 2 hours later, Ian calls Bear and says apparently it was all one big misunderstanding and that she was definitely on a bean. But when somebody knocks on the door, Bear discovers Nikki in a fancy red dress standing before him. She starts out by confessing that she actually was on something, but that's not the only reason she's here. She wholeheartedly admits that after last night, she realizes that she too has feelings for him. And now that she kinda like said it out loud first, Bear finally admits that he too has feelings for her.
Nigga.
Nice hot. Where'd you get it?
Depop, $12.
Get out of here, man.
Well, look who finally got the courage to say what's on his mind.
Nigga, we gotta be men, bro. I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I can't even disagree. It be doing me too, bro. I don't be confessing, you know, shit. But majority of the time, it's not because I love the bit. Like, it's like, I'm talking about, like, if you see a woman for the first time, you like how she look, it's cool to not say shit. That's just, you know, a passing. But if, like, your childhood friend, my nigga, you can't say you like her and just take no, yes, whatever the fuck she says. All right, cool. Let's go live our lives, nigga. Go get a gym, get jacked and all that shit, you know. Get your money up, nigga. So it's cool.
Now, I hate to rain on Buddy's parade here, but the whole excuse that she was just on something ain't adding
It's
up.
crazy.
Twin.
Nigga,
At
she was
trivia
switching
night,
out.
She was on fire. And even though they didn't bring home the dub, Nikki didn't even seem drunk, let alone so messed up like she had no
Exactly.
control over her actions. But if you've ever been around somebody that's zooted, like she said, it would have been a lot more obvious. Trust. And let's not brush past the fact that she turned his dead pet into an art project. Bear wants this to be true so bad, he's completely ignoring the magic. Like, if he was actually thinking with his brain instead of his smartphone, I guess, he'd have to admit that Nikki's not just acting weird, she's basically an entirely different person at this point. Whatever's going on with her, there's already been signs that it could get dangerous quickly. I'm just gonna go back to Sandy the cat for a second. When Nikki realized he didn't like what she did, that little makeshift memorial on the kitchen floor, Nikki genuinely couldn't understand why. Any sane person would be able to see what's so weird about that, and what does this tell us? If we're being smarter than Bear and actually admitting that the One Wish Willow was magical,
it would have been money.
it seems logical that it
real shit. In everything, you could have had anything you wanted, and you wished for a stupid nigga. You're driving a bum car, gang. You could have pulled up in a limo. By then, she would literally love the shit out you, or you'd be rich. You would have won regardless. But no, let's get a bitch to love you. This is what you get. You deserve this shit.
It's a pathological obsession, because that's like the most extreme form of love imaginable. The spell is completely throwing off her sense of right and wrong, like a confused AI model that only wants to make Bear happy all the time. Now, he could just go with it and keep pretending that it's all legit, but if he actually wants to do the right thing, he should be looking for a way to reverse the spell or wish before it gets any worse, you know? And I already have a few ideas for what he could do. First, we would be going straight back to the gift shop and try to get as much intel from the cashier as I could. She mentioned how everyone who uses them always comes back complaining, so there's a chance that she might know a ritual to undo the spell, or at least be able to tell me more about how it actually works and where the hell the One Wish Willow even comes from, right? That Reddit thread would also be a good place to start, since there's already posts from a bunch of people saying their wish came true.
Ask them
open up those
what it was
DMs
about
and reach out to anyone who posted there and try to learn from their story, like what they actually wished for versus what ended up actually happening. Did the wish ever wear off, or did they find some way to reverse it? Another thing that I noticed was on the back of the box, it says to wait 24 hours for your wish to come true, which could mean that the spell gets stronger over time. So instead of letting Nikki come over, he should be trying to stay as far away from her as possible, since then it might take longer or the spell might start to wear off. But I think we all know that Bear's about to not do that.
Yeah, this ain't
as sure as the sun will rise, these two become inseparable. Just two goofy goobers, madly in love, making everyone else around them sick. They're sneaking off to make out at work, reading together at night, making fucking French toast in the morning. Like, what the f? And as cringy as it is, it appears that they're genuinely happy. But as the days go by, Bear can't shake the feeling that none of this is real. Payday arrives, so they head out for a romantic dinner, and Bear admits that he'd like to become a food critic one day, and Nikki laughs and says that she would fully support his career path. Reaching into her bag, she presents Bear with a gift. It's her tiger's eye gem necklace that has been in her family forever and even used to belong to her mom. This hits Bear hard because his original decision to get Nikki a gift but never does mirrors her genuine, meaningful gift. Confused as to why she would bestow such a precious heirloom to him, Ian starts blowing up Bear's phone, so he excuses himself to see what the deal is. Like a good friend should, Ian looked into this situation with Nikki's dying father, and according to several people, the dude is perfectly healthy, clocking into work every day and all that shit. But it's not just that. Ian has been talking to Sarah at work, who said that Nikki has been telling everyone that she's not really in love with Bear, he's just like her little brother or something. So now everyone around them is like, yo, what the f? Shook. Bear walks back to the table, and she can tell right away that something's on his mind. So he just rips off the band-aid and straight up asks if her dad is really sick, but that was his biggest mistake. Nikki starts flipping out, creating a massive scene in their section and swearing she thought the two of them were on a nice date. So Bear, doing the only thing he knows how, remains calm, sits back, and tells Nikki that everything is going to be all right. Smash cut to Bear and Nikki doing that thing that couples do, and hours later, Bear wakes up to use the restroom and notices that Nikki is gone. It's 3:45 a.m. and not only is the vibe in the room completely off as his night vision adjusts, he notices the silhouette of Nikki standing perfectly still in the corner of his room. Like a creature of the night, she walks towards him saying he's adorable while he sleeps and that his shirt smells just like him. Bear's heart rate spikes as cold sweat goes down his back, frozen in fear. And without warning, Nikki rewinds back to her spot and begins to sob uncontrollably. "I don't like my dreams," she says, "and it seems like you don't love me as much as I do, and that..."
See, I was gonna say, well, at least shit isn't going bad as long as she's not, you know, like, as long as you didn't tell her you didn't love her and shit like that. It seemed like she was fine for the most part, but yeah, niggas standing in a corner and watching me sleep, nigga, that's not it, gang. Yeah, it's over, gang. We gotta solve this. You gotta fix this right now.
It doesn't feel mutual between us. Bear tells Nikki she's scaring him, but she just tells him to go back to sleep again in this creepy, psychotic voice, and then randomly darts for the living room screaming, "Why don't you love me?" Only to come back in holding roses in front of her face. And I mean, there's no telling what she's about to do now, but after standing there in total silence, she just puts it down and says it's for his cat, and then hops back into bed and falls asleep. In the morning, Bear notices that Nikki cut his hair while he was sleeping. When he asks her low-key what the happened last night, she just pulls him in for a kiss until that lizard brain kicks in. It's Nikki's day off, so Bear makes her promise to just stay home and act normal until he gets back. But it's too late, as she's covered the entire front door in duct tape, suggesting that he just stay home for the day since he can't get out the front door. Taking a deep breath, he plays it off like nothing's wrong, awkwardly yanking on the handle until it finally comes loose.
I'm not coming back home.
Goodbye, and Nikki just stands there staring at the door, and the second he's gone, Nikki unleashes her bowels onto the floor, which we can't show you on YouTube.
She shit on the floor?
A shot of me holding my dachshund. Say what up, Kilo?
What the fuck? Am I even watching, gang? What the fuck? Fuck this stupid shit.
But yeah, the shit's really hitting the fan. It's got to be like a week and a half since he made the wish, and Nikki's already gone way past clingy to acting like a demonic cartoon. It's got to be one of two things, right? Full mental breakdown or the One Wish Willow. Can Bear afford to get her a psychiatrist? No, bruh. It's got to be the One Wish Willow, gang. It seems like if he ever goes home again, she's never gonna let him leave. But as long as Nikki thinks that he's at work, this actually gives him some time to try some shit out. Her behavior last night would suggest in some way Nikki's former self was trying to break through. Like when Nikki says that she doesn't like her dreams, it could be that the real Nikki is trapped inside and her dreams are where she experiences the truth. Wish Nikki is falling apart because she's aware that something is missing. Like she has all this love to give to Bear, but she doesn't feel whole. It's creepy as because it might be the first hint that freaky Nikki is not happy either. The flowers she used to block her face right before she got in bed and went to sleep seemed to me like she was hiding the wrong version of herself. Either the real Nikki is trying to hide or
fuck, this shit is some psychological fuck, nigga.
Break through. So why not just use the One Wish Willow to make another wish? Well, okay, the problem with that package clearly says you only get one wish. I feel like at this point, all he's got to do is use someone else's wish to cancel his out. I mean, that's like Wish 101, though. Bear needs to get on his fucking bike and go back to the Green Man and buy up that whole box of One Wish Willows, even the ones up underneath the register that they haven't even put out yet because it's time. He's also going to need an Academy Award winning script because the wish has to be absolutely perfect to make sure that nothing goes wrong. I'd write down something like, I wish for Nikki Freeman to go back to exactly how she was before Bear made his wish. Like, let's just start with that one. Try walking up to some random stranger who's never even heard of a One Wish Willow. Maybe cut them a deal. Look for someone down on their luck. Take the willow out of the package first so that they don't get an...
Or genuinely give somebody that shit and tell them you paid them $100 to make that wish. That nigga will make that shit instantly and you're free, bro. It only cost you $100 for your peace of mind, nigga.
The ideas, then offer them 500 ducats.
500,
only if they break the stick and repeat the exact words that I wrote down on a piece of paper. He could also
we on the same time,
nigga. He trusts, like Ian or Sarah. If Ian's not down, Sarah might honestly be a better option because she already likes Bear, full stop. Thinks he's dreamy and all.
Why the fuck fuck doesn't he go with that? This nigga is so greedy, bro. This
And he's
I
good
hate
friends with
niggas,
Nikki,
bro.
giving her every reason to want to help them out. All they have to do is use one of their wishes to break the spell, and bingo, problem solved.
Obviously,
Later
doesn't
that
do
day,
that
Bear
shit.
and Sarah take their lunch break at the music store and finally get to let loose for an hour. Bear opens up his lunch Nikki prepared for him and finds two weird Polaroids. One of him from some kind of strange angle, and the other one's a selfie of them in bed with the words "not me" written on the bottom. Sarah says that it's so weird just how serious they've become. Bear confronts her with the private info Ian shared about Bear, about how Nikki comes to work sometimes and says that she thinks about him like a little brother. Sarah's pissed that Ian likes to share secrets between the friend group, but before she knows it, her father pulls her aside as another college rejection letter comes in. Her dad is giving her one more chance before she has to either move out of his house, stop applying to liberal arts colleges, start her career, you know, being her dad about things, right? Deflated, she takes a seat and puts her head on Bear's shoulder. During their little moment,
Bro,
she
she
grabs
likes
the
this
cheesy
nigga.
note that Nikki put on his lunchbox,
Ah, this is
teasing
so
him
fucking
about
sad,
how
bro.
whack the two of them have become.
This is so fucking sad, bro. This nigga could have had this bad bitch, but then has to go through this. She's probably gonna die too, bro. Oh, fuck.
Only when she flips it over, she notices something weird. On the other side, it says, "What's the verdict on Cat?" And when he looks down at his sandwich, that's when it hits him. This girl actually cut up pieces
my
of his
goodness.
dead cat and fed it to him like a damn peanut butter and jelly
Fuck.
sandwich. With a sense of dread that only people who have
Fuck.
accidentally eaten their pets can relate to, he chucks up Sandy in the bin and swears that it's just an inside joke between Nikki and himself. After clocking out, Ian asks for a ride back to his crib, and he's got some more questions about what's been going on with Nikki. He says the whole thing is sus as and people are starting to wonder if Bear is doing anything shady, but he swears that their relationship is legit. If Bear can prove that there's no toxic codependency going on between them, he should be able to leave Nikki at home for the night and kick it at Ian's place for some beer pong. Bear grows less confident about how he's going to relay the news to Nikki and how she'll take him going out without her. Plus, he's still got to confront her about the whole cat thing, so he sits in the driveway for a minute practicing what he's gonna say. The One Wish Willow music faintly plays from inside his backpack, so he takes out the box and decides to ring up the customer service number, and somebody picks up. And the guy on the other line sounds weirdly chill, and he keeps replying with these simple one-word answers until Bear asks if he can cancel his wish. The guy says the only way to do that is if the person who made the wish dies, meaning Nikki's gonna be stuck like this as long as he's still alive. Bear asks him why Nikki suddenly becomes enraged and randomly spazzes out, and the guy just asks Bear if he wants to talk to Nikki to find out. On speakerphone, all he hears is the real Nikki violently screaming in the background until he finally hangs up.
Nigga, are you stupid?
They put
Who the fuck is?
100,000 people
Oh my goodness.
and gave me
Imagine being the real Nikki, bro. Holy shit, bro. I would hate this nigga, bro. I would hate this nigga, bro. I would fucking hate this nigga. It's something about being a stupid person, bro.
Right, this scene perfectly captures an entire generation's fear of calling up strangers on the phone. You used to be able to ask random strangers if their refrigerators are running, but now if you ask questions, somebody might tell you that they've got your girlfriend's soul captive in the shadow. And whatever replaced her, it's most likely something demonic. But as bad as that sounds, there's still some good news, because the more we know about what we're up against, the better our chances are of finding a way to bring her back. This changes a lot about how we can approach things, because first of all, we don't have to be nice to Nikki or anything like that, since we know that it's not even the real her. But we still have to be careful to keep her physically safe, since she's gonna need her bot.
Alright, I'm back. Family matters.
Break the spell. It's gonna be a delicate balancing act. She's steadily getting more unhinged with every minute that goes by, and it feels like any minute now
Real
she might
shit,
start
bro.
getting really violent. But since we can't just roundhouse kick the demon out of her without causing some injuries, that means that we're gonna have to plan ahead. And at this point, Bear should hit up a few stores first and arm himself with some non-lethal weapons before he gets back home. Like he's gonna
Should've
need
been
that pepper
tied
spray,
her up,
blinding
bro.
her for a minute or two and giving me a chance to get away. I'm also picking up a high. At least we grab all that. Though the guy on the phone said that it can't be done, I still have a few ideas. The first thing I'd do is go back to the shop and buy all the One Wish Willows like I mentioned before, and then I'd try.
I feel like his plan is just the most basic shit. I'm gonna just skip his planning, bro. Like, nigga, it's cool, bro. You gotta shitty plan, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, so back inside, he
The plan is always the same, but this white niggas will never do this shit, so we're skipping that.
flips on the lights, only to find Nikki looking
Yep,
like a
she's already
disgusting
tripping.
mess. Looks like she's been standing in the same spot all day, but she just blames it on a stomach bug and hops straight in the shower. He tries confronting her about Sandy, but she pretty much just ignores it, hoping he'll just move on. But when he brings up going to boys' night over at Ian's, the shower instantly stops because apparently Sarah already texted her and said that they were both invited. Nikki starts flipping out again until he finally gives up and asks her to tag along. And Ian is not happy that he didn't stick to the plan. Both of them agree to just ride the night out, but Bear is really on some thin ice with his friends. So eventually everyone starts playing a game of Jenga, where each piece has a challenge written on the blocks in Sharpie. When one of their friends pulls switch seats, he decides to trade places with Bear. So right away, Nikki starts getting all clingy in front of the whole squad. Somebody cracks a joke about how it seems like Nikki is under a spell, but she starts cracking up way harder than everybody else, making the whole vibe incredibly awkward. And that's when Freaky Nikki hits phase 2 immediately. It's her turn and she pulls a brick, but doesn't reveal what it says. But she does stand up and looks like she's about to read something from her notes app. Before anyone can clock what's going on, she's reading some insane fetish fanfic of some absolutely messed up version of the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel that seems oddly like it's supposed to be about her and Bear, and it's the creepiest thing that anyone at the party has ever heard. And when she's finally done, she just sits down as if it was totally normal, and after a few seconds of awkward silence, they decide to just move on and act like nothing ever happened. Bear's turn as he pulls the piece that says kiss the person to your left, which is not good because that means he has to kiss Sarah.
Nigga, why would y'all
Nikki
play
jumps
this
up and
shit? Why would anyone... Is this nigga stupid? Why would he play this shit? This is like playing spin the bar or playing one of those stupid type of games. If with all this shit, nigga, she fed you your dead cats, my nigga, and you decided, yo, let me go play a game where they give us commands to do shit, and you know this type of... This nigga is retarded, bro. She might as well just slime the whole party, gang.
Some with how your girlfriend looks at you when you eat the last slice of pizza face ass, and then walks over to Sarah's chair, slides it back, and takes her place on Bear's left, all without saying a word. He nervously leans over and gives her a kiss, which sends her on another vaguely threatening speech about how everyone else in the room will never know the beauty of true love. Right at the end of her TED Talk, the real Nikki surfaces for just a moment, screaming that this is not me, and shatters a wine bottle on the table and starts jamming the glass into her face. The spell takes over again, sending everyone at the party running for their lives, and Bear is just like, alright, I'ma head out.
Playing on iPhone? Now you can play unlocked on PC with Google Play Games.
This nigga is the most retarded nigga I've ever seen in my life, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nigga, you knew she was on this shit. Nobody else had to know she was on some weird shit, freaking out, switching out, whatever the fuck. You done brought her to a public place and had this whole shit displayed in front of everybody, bro. You're a fucking genius, bro. Don't look like that, bitch. You're stupid. Whenever stupid shit like this happen to stupid people, bro, and then they try to fucking do regret and shit, that should be pissing me off even more, bro. I should beat your ass for the stupidity in your brain, nigga.
Right, I've seen some couples do some embarrassing stuff at parties before, but this joint right here just went down in the Hall of Fame of crash outs. Nikki's officially gone from being a stage 5 clinger to actually violent. And if Bear lets this keep going, it's only a matter of time before she straight up kills somebody. Now, there's still a chance that they can save her as long as they hurry the fuck up. Bear is still the only one who knows there's a magical side to all this. Even if this was just a regular mental breakdown, things have officially gotten to the point where they need professional help. He can't just pull up at the mental hospital and drop her at the door. Even adults who swear that they're fine can still be held for a while if the doctors genuinely believe they're a danger to themselves or others. Instead of him and Nikki leaving by themselves, I would take Ian, Sarah, and anyone else who wanted to come with me and then bring Nikki straight...
I'm not taking Sarah with me, bro, because I could tell Sarah, low-key, would be the best girl for this nigga, bro. But... nigga, he needs muscles, bro. Niggas that are, yo, I'm down for shit, nigga. I'm down to get violent when I need to get violent, bro. You don't want no white, bro. She broke a bottle, bro. That could have been anybody's face and stabbed that nigga, bro. So if you're gonna come with me, nigga, you gotta be on some. I'm down to punch a bit, you know. I'm not saying to go around punching women, bro. Just in this scenario, bro, we need hands on deck, bro. All hands on deck, bro. All right.
to the emergency room, and while she was there, I'd calmly explain what just happened back at the party, leaving out anything that involves the magic stuff. With Ian and the others as witnesses, they should be able to have Nikki held there for at least a little while, and even though the doctors wouldn't actually be able to solve things, that would at least give them some time to work on a plan while she's in a safe place. Back at the house, Nikki is still trying to act like everything
Why
is
this
perfectly
nigga
fine.
letting
It's
her
pretty
walk
obvious
around? Nigga,
that's not the
tie her
truth.
up,
She's
bro.
still acting hella clingy, even trying to follow him to the restroom. Frustrated, he asks why she went nuts back at the party, saying how it scared all their friends. All Nikki has to say is, I know Sarah likes you. Like, that's somehow the problem here. Bear wants to know if the real Nikki actually likes him, not just this weird version of herself that's been around these last few weeks. She just hits him with this big demonic smile and goes, not to worry, I'm your freaky Nikki, which is obviously something the real her would never say. They keep arguing back and forth, and Bear brings up the idea of spending just one night apart, causing her to start sobbing and promising that she can be normal. The more she tries to fix it, the worse it gets, until even Bear has to admit that her feelings for him were never real. And just as he's finally realizing this, she looks him dead in the eyes and goes, I love you in every reality. It seems so genuine, he folds and says, I love you too, still wanting all this to be true. But that's when Nikki jumps up and walks backwards towards the kitchen like somebody just hit the rewind button. Then she hits him with a little pump fake before just standing there watching from the shadows. Terrified, the dude nervously says that he's gonna go spend the night at Ian's. She just replies, okay, in this monotone voice, and when he calls her back, she starts going off on another long, vaguely threatening speech that kinda makes it seem like she wouldn't be alive when he gets home. So in the end, Bear decides that he better stay. Sometime later, he's lying there awake when he gets a text from Sarah. She's got some urgent intel and wants to meet up at the
Nigga,
park,
don't
but when
open
he
this shit in
asks
front of her. Are
to
you a
just
fucking
text,
idiot?
She threatens to just show up at his house instead. So
Nigga,
after
no!
making sure that Nikki is out cold, he carefully moves her arm
this
and
bitch is
gets out of bed.
Nigga, she was above you in the morning, gang. Oh my goodness, nigga.
Just then
stupid.
he hears Nikki's voice behind him. When
Real
he turns
shit, bro.
around, she's still fast asleep. That's when he realizes it's the real Nikki calling to him from the other side. She starts asking him to kill her before she wakes up. Hurt, he asks why she'd rather die than be with him, only for her to reply that it's never been the real her. Bear decides now is his only chance to get away and walks down to the neighborhood park.
If you got hit, even if you were not driving,
Not gonna lie.
you need to try this.
If I was in that situation, I would not be smoking her either, bro. Because I'm not going to jail for you, bro. Even though I caused this shit. My fault, gang. But I would try to fix it, bro. Which there's... apart from regular demonic activities, bro, this seems like one of the most easier shit to fix, bro. Genuinely, bro.
Alright, now that's just messed up. By now, Bear should be feeling like a total shithead for what he did. But honestly,
shit.
it's a good thing he didn't listen to the voices in his head, because we really don't even know if that's really Nikki or just the demon trying to mess with him. But with that being said, going to meet with Sarah would be the biggest mistake that he could possibly make here. First of all, he doesn't know if demonic Nikki is really asleep or just pretending to be.
That's what I'm... Bro, this bitch cannot be asleep, gang. She was awake in a minute standing over you, gang. She probably don't even sleep for you, bro. Lights only go out when your eyes are closed, bro. She's probably awake 24/7.
After what happened at the party, if she catches Bear with Sarah alone in a parking lot at night, yeah, she's gonna catch a body. So the smarter thing to do would be to just tell Sarah he can't meet because it's dangerous, and then find a more natural time to hear what she has to say, like in the morning when they're both at work. I would say for things being as tense as they are, now wouldn't really be the time to sneak out of the crib. But maybe he's hoping that there's something Sarah has for him that can help this situation. And I've got one last idea that's so crazy it just might work. Remember, the One Wish Willow customer service representative on the phone said that if Bear dies, it'll break the spell. So for this plan, he's gonna need 2 people he trusts with his life. But since he doesn't have any of those, Ian and Sarah are probably gonna be the ones that have to help him out. First, he needs to go back to the store and get 2 more One Wish Willows. And then one of them's gonna have to wish Bear was dead, and once he dies, the spell should be broken, and then as soon as Nikki's back to normal, the second person can wish Bear back to life. It's definitely risky, but unless he can think of another plan, this might be the only way.
But honestly, that's a dangerous one too. Ain't gonna lie, you don't want to just wish the nigga was dead. That shit could just fucking summon a shit to cut his head off, bro. And then when dealing with demonic shit, bro, you don't want to wish a dead nigga from death back to life, bro, because something else is gonna come back to life, nigga. It's not gonna be the same nigga, bro. Probably gonna drag his soul to hell, replace his soul with some other shit like this shit. It would just be way worse, gang.
Gosh, Scoob. He
It'd be way
finds
worse.
Sarah sitting in her car chilling at the park. When she asks what's going on with Nikki, he just lies and blames it all on her sick dad. Confused, she says that she thought Nikki hated the guy, but he keeps insisting that it's the truth.
Why is this
So
nigga
changing
lying?
the subject, she pulls out the last letter from her dream school saying that she's waited until now to open it. They start goofing around and cracking jokes in a way that honestly seems more natural than Bear and Nikki ever did. But before she opens the letter, there's something she has to tell him first. It turns out that Nikki and Ian have been casually hooking up for the last 2 years. So now Ian thinks that Nikki is using Bear as a way to get back at Ian. And even if that's not true, she thinks it sucks that he's with somebody who's not really the best fit for him, strongly hinting that she's talking about herself. And even after everything that's happened, this dude actually starts thinking that she might be the one after all. But Nikki's not about to let that slide, and just as Sarah starts to hint that they should kiss for real, Nikki comes sprinting over, smashes straight through the window, and starts slamming Sarah's head against a brick over and over until her face is completely crushed, making 2 down with 2 more to go. Nikki stops and runs straight to Bear's door, acting like a worried mom, while also blaming him for the whole thing. She keeps reminding him that he wished for this while he just sits there in total shock. But they have to do something with the body, and too scared to think straight, he helps Nikki take her back to the music store and stuffs her in a big tuba case. Like, damn, son. After that, Nikki tells him to head back to the crib, but instead, he goes straight to the gift shop looking for another One Wish Willow. Fed up, he asks how they can still sell these things to innocent people, but the guy points out that they're covered in warnings on the box, so buyer beware type shit. And when he finds out Bear's wish was for his dream girl to fall in love with him, he just acts surprised and says that it can't be all that bad. The employee says it's impossible to reverse a wish once you've made it, and since everyone only gets one, Bear can't use it to make another one, but there is one thing he could try: getting someone else to use their wish to cancel his out. Either that or one of them has to die, so he grabs the last 3 off the shelf and runs back to his car.
This nigga's so fucking...
Well, Bear, I guess this is why they
Bruh.
always say be careful what you wish for.
Real shit.
And poor Sarah. I mean, let's be real, she was just trying to figure out why that was driving her friend insane. And now that your demonic girlfriend just put her on a t-shirt, there's really only one thing left to say. Come on, everybody, say it with me. Bear, you have officially
fucked up, man.
Up.
You
This might be
fucked
one of
up.
the craziest things that we've ever seen here on the channel. Before Bear even made the wish, it was obvious Sarah had a thing for him, so if he wasn't so obsessed with Nikki, he could have had a normal, healthy
Real
relationship
shit.
with a girl who actually liked him. But this dude genuinely put his crush under magic mind control, then wants to turn around and cheat on her after she's been possessed by a demon. Brother, that is wrong on so many levels. I don't even know where to start. At this point, I can't even feel bad for him.
I
since
really
this
don't,
entire
bro. I hate
disaster
this
was
dude.
1000% his fault.
I really
so
hate this dude,
congratulations,
bro.
Bear, because you have f***ed up, and I honestly cannot wait to see how you land the plane here. Let's pull up a chair and find out.
I kinda-
Smash cut to
Not gonna lie, I hate this, but I kind of hope this, bro. I hope they slime him, bro. So like she gets free, and honestly, she's gonna have to deal with a whole bunch of trauma, but that's her problem. I don't give a fuck about her either. But this nigga gotta die, bro.
Bear in the whip. He breaks out one of the new sticks, trying to wish that Nikki only liked him as a friend. But no matter how hard he tries, the damn thing won't snap in half. Needing another solution, he decides to try getting Ian's help instead. So he admits that the whole thing about making a wish actually came true. Obviously, it all sounds so crazy.
Nigga,
but
shut the
Ian
fuck up
is
and just do this
swing
shit.
on him. Ian opens the package, and Bear starts telling him how to word his wish so that it cancels the whole thing out. But out of nowhere, Ian just goes, "I wish for $1 billion," and breaks the stick. And boy,
Oh
is he
my
surprised when $1
fucking
billion
stupid dumbass.
starts
But good for
really
him
falling
too.
from the sky. With no time left, Bear drops to his knees and just stares at him, completely out of ideas. He rushes down the street back to his house, and Nikki comes walking out of the shadows, wearing Sarah's clothes and badly drawn her tattoos and Sharpie all over herself, and starts absolutely freaking out worse than anything else so far. Bear has unexpectedly walked into the final boss room, slowly backing down on the couch as Nikki pulls out a revolver just as Ian starts banging on his front door. She just turns around and blasts blasts him straight in the head, making 3 down with 1 more to go.
This nigga's a fucking moron, and that's what he deserves too, bro. After getting a fucking $1 billion, your bitch ass gonna fucking boom yourself? Oh, you a fucking idiot, bro. Oh my goodness, bro. This nigga's so stupid, bro. You could have been out of this shit. At the very least, before you try to find out if this shit was real, my nigga, you couldn't have just made the wish first, then have another nigga do it, and then split the bread with that nigga? You fucking idiot, my nigga. You're an idiot.
And with no other way to calm things down, Bear decides to just play along, and that's when he finally realizes what he's got to do. He lies and tells Nikki that they should go freshen up, but the minute they get to the restroom, he slams the door and locks himself inside. But as long as he's alive, Nikki's never going to be the same.
Nigga, lock her inside!
And starts thinking about uninstalling his OS. But in the end, he just can't make himself do it. Instead, he reaches into the cabinet and downs a bottle of meds, only to chicken out at the last second and start trying to make himself puke him up. And without warning, he hears the One Wish Willow jingle coming from a freshly opened box in the living room, and suddenly he gets up and walks outside. Turns out Nikki used the last wish to make Bear fall in love with her. So now they both finally got what they wanted in an absolute twisted way. But as he leans in for a kiss, he suddenly falls over from all the oxy in his system.
He poisoned himself.
There's nothing Nikki can do as he dies in her arms, making 4 down with no more to go. Completely heartbroken, Nikki starts breaking down in tears, but all of a sudden the spell snaps off, and as she wakes up surrounded by her friends' bodies, having absolutely no idea what even happened. So in the end, that makes 4 victims down, with Nikki as the only survivor, and it looks like she's about to have the worst hangover of her life. As for the rest of us, there's definitely a lesson to be learned here. If you ever need magical Riz to get out of the friend zone, you better be careful what you wish for. Obsession 20.
This nigga's a fucking idiot, bro. But WVO, man. This shit lasted way too long. 15 minutes. I'm out of here, bro. I love you niggas. You stuck to the end. This shit was peak. And I'm out, bro. Shit.
I thought she'd be paid for life. I thought she would stay for life. You told me you love me, that's a fucking reason I thought. But I didn't know, I didn't know that you was, I didn't know, I didn't